Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the War Train here. Do me a favor, if you're new, please subscribe and turn on those notifications down below so you guys can get notified of every time I upload a video just like this one. And if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. But with that said, today's video, guys, I want to talk about next-gen hardware. Something that I absolutely love. I always get excited when new hardware is coming out, and right now is one of those times because we're coming up on next gen. We're going to have PlayStation 5 coming out next year, the next Xbox, which it's always exciting for that stuff to come out because I love to see what the new consoles can do, the great games that come along with that, because there's always some kind of a leap. Maybe not so big anymore, but there's still a lot of cool features that you didn't have with the last system. And, where does that leave the Nintendo Switch? This is the original model of the Nintendo Switch right here. Absolutely great little system. I absolutely love this thing. Pretty much, though, this thing was probably outdated as soon as it came out because this works off of mobile technology. It's a tablet. And, it uses a Tegra X1, which basically the Tegra X1 was already something that was old by the time this system launched in 2017, which, is kind of crazy, but, Nintendo has done awesome things with the Nintendo Switch. It's a great little console. I can't say it's fully capable because it does have some limitations, and we've all seen that. But, they also came out with this guy right here. The version 2, which used a Tegra X1 but a modified chipset, which they called the Mariko chip. And, this chip, what it does is it's basically modified. It draws less power consumption, runs the console cooler, which in turn makes the battery be able to run longer. That's why you have this thing with a longer battery life, and it's actually substantially longer than this guy right here. So, it was really cool that Nintendo put out this pretty much silent revision because they didn't really, they didn't really push this thing. They just kind of dropped it. If it came out in a red box, you were getting the version 2. That was pretty much it. They didn't say a whole lot about it except for that, it had a longer battery life, and it absolutely does. It has a little bit of a different screen, which is a little bit warmer and a little bit brighter. But other than that, it's pretty much the same exact thing. Other than that, it is a little different because this one was easily hackable. Most people had seen it where people were basically using a paper clip and they were jumping out the contacts on the right Joy-Con. And they were selling stuff on Etsy where you could just slide it on the rail and jumps it out for you, so it makes it easy. But you still had to do some things, hooking it up to your PC and still do some stuff to actually mod this guy. But for the most part, that was how you got into it, was by the right Joy-Con. And with this one, they actually wanted to get it out too so they could put tougher security on it because Nintendo does not like people getting into their system and adding all these games that they want you to either pay for or have their online service and pay for that. So, and they showed that they don't like it because they basically kick people off their online service because they were able to tell if you modded your system and put it online. So that was a thing for a while. And, but not too long ago, we also got this guy, the Switch Lite. Great little handheld system. And, the next evolution, obviously, for Nintendo handhelds. But this one is nothing extra. It's actually a basically light version of the Nintendo Switch. Exactly what it says. You're basically missing features. They took out some of the features. You also got the same Mariko chipset in here, which, same thing, harder to hack this thing. And obviously now you don't have Joy-Cons on here, so you always have that. That makes it harder. But this has the longer battery life because of that chip drawing less power and, running cooler. So, this is where we stand right now with Nintendo's hardware. Well, they're kind of going to start running into some problems. Nintendo puts out a lot of actual third party, they're getting a lot of third party support with the Switch. A lot more than they've seen in quite a long time, which is great to see. But if you notice, there's limitations on what we're getting. We have had places really support it, like Bethesda with Doom. Their Doom Eternal's coming out, Wolfenstein Youngblood. Absolutely, great games, and everybody thought these were impossible ports. They are probably very hard ports to put on there because, they obviously have to degrade the game somewhat, and, there's limitations, so they have to change some things or, downgrade certain things to get it to even run, drop the resolution, drop the frame rate, but there's only so much stuff that they can do. You got games like The Witcher 3 coming out. Absolutely amazing. Nobody thought that The Witcher 3 would ever run on this, but CD Projekt Red also has games like Cyberpunk that are going to be coming out next year, and I don't think that that'll be a game that you would see on this current version of the Nintendo Switch. I don't think with all the resolution drops and the frame rate drops and, dropping shadows and, anti-aliasing and all this stuff, I still don't think you're going to get a game like that to run on there. It's just not going to happen. Just like Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that you're not going to see on this current version of the Nintendo Switch. And how's Nintendo going to compete with these third-party, are going to compete with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One when you got third-party support for them that are making games that are definitely not going to run on here because they're not even running certain games from the PS4 Xbox era. So it's definitely going to be a problem. And I've been watching a lot of this stuff behind the scenes. There's been rumors of the Switch Pro for at least a year and a half now. I mean, there's been talks about upgraded Switch since the Switch came out. And I always kept my ear open listening to, gaming news and stuff about this. And, there was a lot of talk we were going to get new consoles. Well, we did. We got the revision. We got the Switch Lite, which those were all rumored to happen. The revision kind of wasn't. There was always talk of another Nintendo Switch that was in development. And, there still is a Nintendo Switch in development. It is, maybe not even this generation of Nintendo Switch. It could be the successor or the one that's going to come out next. And, this is, still going to be out. I believe this will just be like their other system. But they'll have a premier system coming out because they're going to need something to compete with these games. That are going to be coming out on the next gen hardware. And Nintendo, I think they'll jump in for sure. And there's a lot of evidence that supports this. I think it was today, Super Metal Dave and Review Tech Super Metal Dave 64 and Review Tech USA. I watch both these channels pretty regularly. And they do a co-op video together basically laying out all the facts. And I've been watching Super Metal Dave 64 for quite a while, years now. And he digs into all this stuff. He digs into all the public information. And there's a lot of information supporting Nintendo building a more superior Switch. And, the video they came out with today made me want to put out a video talking about this as well because I think it's so cool. And I totally believe that this is a thing and it's going to be happening. We are going to see a newer version of Nintendo Switch within the next year. It's definitely going to happen. I mean, they've already, have behind the scenes deals with, which is public information with, screen developers for totally new screens that definitely are screens that you wouldn't see on this Switch because it just isn't powerful enough to even work with those screens. I mean, like 1080p screens. So some of the better screens in the industry that would have smaller bezels, thinner tablet, way less power consumption. 1080p. Right off the bat, all that stuff. That you're not going to see with this version of Switch. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And they have people that they were hiring for like a year ago to actually work on, different development, just development cycle of chipset stuff that you can't do with the current Tegra. So working on all kinds of new operating systems, and they were hiring people to basically emulate the current Nintendo Switch, which would only mean one thing, is that they're making a new Nintendo Switch that would be backwards compatible with all Switch titles and would run them through emulation, because it's just different hardware, and it has to be, because it's going to be a lot better, and you know, they need to be able to compete. You know, but go check out those videos. Like I said, this is Review Tech USA and Super Metal Dave 64. I believe it's Review Tech USA's video that he has Super Metal Dave 64 on his channel. But absolutely awesome. If you're into, you know, tech news like I am, I mean, this is it. I mean, it's so cool to hear this stuff. Like I said, I've been following it for quite a while, so it's not really new to me. But it's cool when they lay it all out together, you know, and it was already, for me, compelling 6 months ago. And, you know, it's just been, Super Metal Dave's been building his case now for at least a year. He's been, you know, blazing at the forefront of talking about this stuff, and just, you know, not going with public opinion, because we got, you know, the version 2, which people were like, oh yeah, that's the one that they were working on, which it wasn't, because there's all this stuff behind the scenes that's documented facts about, you know, actual deals, and, you know, hirings, and people working on things that lead to something completely different. Obviously, a new superior version of Nintendo Switch, that would be a NextGen.Switch, and it's something that's gonna have to come out. Nintendo's gonna have to dive into this. The Switch being the concept for their idea, it absolutely succeeded. They know that, and they're gonna dive in now. They're making a ton of money. They're gonna throw that money into, you know, something better, because they have to. You know, we got cell phones and stuff coming out, and now and in the next year, that will blow the Switch away with, you know, what they can do with their processors and stuff. So they're forced to do this, guys. You know, I'm sure most people have a cell phone that the screen already smokes the Switch. I know mine does, you know, and I've had screens that smoke the Switch's screen for years now. The screen on the Switch, it, you know, does what it needs to do, but let's face it, I mean, it's a 720p screen. I don't think I've had a 720p screen on my phone in a long time, to be honest. And most of us get new cell phones every year, and if not every year, every other year. I know I'm due for an upgrade now, and I don't need one, but I'll probably get one soon, just because I can. Why not? I'd love to have a nicer phone. Most people do like that. I figure it's something that I use in my life all the time. Why not? So, you know, and that's how, you know, these systems are becoming. You know, we're already been seeing mid-generation refreshes and stuff, you know, with the Xbox One X, PlayStation 4 Pro, and we've seen that before, you know, with like the PlayStation 3 Slim model, Xbox 360 Elite that had the HDMI cord, when the original model only had AV cables or, you know, RGB component cables for HD. And then that switched to HDMI. So you've seen this happen time and time again now, so it's definitely not a new thing. But what do you guys think? I really wanted to make this video. I thought it was such a cool subject. Let me know your take on this in the comments down below. And subscribe to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this daily. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. But that's the video. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, guys.